Do you remember the first story you heard in your life? Not the name, not the voice that told it, but the story, that feeling? The chill down your spine when the story turned dangerously dark? When the wolf appeared? Or when the witch pretended to smile? I remember. Jack and the Beanstalk always seemed magical to me. We were lulled by tales like someone lulled into a deep sleep. But what no one told us is that these tales were never just stories. They are rituals, obscure reflections, mirrors of the soul of our inner self. Mirrors too ancient to reflect only what is external. They don't show what is outside, but what is inside, hidden in the crevices of our soul. The three little pigs can't escape this. You've certainly heard this story or watched cartoons about it many times. You know them, right? Let's remember it. One built a house of straw, another of wood, the third of stone. Then a wolf appears and blows hard. Two flee from the wolf, run together and flee to the house of the little builder pig who survives the attack. Moral of the story: work hard, discipline sweat, be smart, and you will do well in life. What if I told you that this is a huge lie, or better, a half-truth? This is just the skin of the apple, sweet, superficial, but if you look closer, if you cut it open carefully, you'll see that the apple was rotten on the inside all along. The three little pigs are not picturesque and funny characters from a children's story. No, ladies and gentlemen. They are intrinsic parts of each of us, fragments of the unconscious, of the hidden depths of your soul. They represent three voices that compete for my mind and yours. The voice of immediate pleasure, the voice of fear, of what goes around comes around, of meritocracy, and voice of silence. The wolf. Oh, the wolf. He is not an external threat coming from God knows where. No, he does not come from outside. He never came, he was. He blows not because of the external storms, but because of those that want to come from within. He is the shadow that we run away from so as not to face. And every time you deny who you are, you try to camouflage it. It watches, waits, grows, swells, and blows. Sacred texts tell us that the more something is prohibited, the more the desire to commit such prohibition grows. These tales are not innocent little stories. They have been made innocent, marketable, and palatable. Little Red Riding Hood, Sleeping Beauty, the tortoise and the hare. They have all been softened, domesticated by the system, the same system that, from earliest childhood, controls minds and talents and selects who should and should not excel. But every fable is revealing. They exploded from the collective unconscious, born from the depths of the darkness of the human soul of the forest, from the pulse of fear, from the raw flesh of ancient rituals. This channel and the books or audiobooks we will offer are and will be a return to depth amidst so much superficiality these days. They are an unearthing, a stripping bare, a discovering of the individual interior. You will not just be a reader, a spectator, or a listener. You will be a witness, you will be a mirror, prey, and predator. Welcome to the true tale of the three little pigs. Or better, welcome to the mirror of your own construction. Once upon a time, there was a road that came from nowhere and went to nowhere, that never ended. It unfolded like a forgotten dream, between misty hills and trees so tall they seemed to support the sky. The moon, full and motionless, cast a ghostly glow over the path, and beneath it, three figures walked side by side, three little pigs, but not as you know them. They were not childish creatures with pink noses and cartoonish giggles. They were shadows of flesh, skin, and symbols, living fragments of a divided consciousness, three bodies in one essence. The first one walked lightly, almost dancing, youthful, carefree, responding to all his instincts. His eyes shone like childish mirrors. He whistled, picked flowers. With every step he invented a new game. He was what he wanted. He wasn't thinking about the future, he was living for today. The carpe diem of the group. The second walked upright, eyes hard, focused. He measured the path, pointed out the dangers, repeated rules that no one had asked, lived by them as if believing that the world was logical, coherent, and not chaos. His hands held a map he had drawn himself. That was what he knew, or rather what he thought he knew. The third said nothing, nor did he say anything, lost in his thoughts. He walked a few steps behind. He watched. His eyes were deep as wells. His paws touched the ground with ritual caution. He didn't seem to be seeking any destination. He seemed to be listening to the road, but they didn't know why they were there in the middle of the woods at night. Or rather, they knew, but they forgot. like someone who wakes up from a dream knowing they were running away from something, but can't remember what. The road was dark, but not threatening. At least not yet. They just followed, letting life take them. It reminds me of a song, "Life takes me, let life take me, life takes me." They went because they had to follow. But a conflict arose within them, demanding, where to go? What do I want? Why am I here? And insecurity struck, because inside each one an ancient voice said, build your house, find your shelter. The first little pig wanted to live in the present, so he thought of the easiest material, straw of course. He smiled, boasting about his wisdom. Mine will be light and beautiful. In 2 days it will be ready. The second little wood pig nodded. Mine will be organized, planned. I will have my goals set, my project designed, materials and tools separated, a storage space. It will be strong. According to the teachings of the ancients, I will follow the steps of the past, the safe one. The third little pig on the rock said nothing, did not answer. And there, at that junction where the visible world ends, each one went their own way. They couldn't live together because they were so different, so many conflicting goals, new beginnings, so many self-sabotaged New Year's resolutions. No, it couldn't be. This time they separated. Each one followed a different path, but none of them noticed that in the distance, between the twisted branches of the forest, 2 eyes were watching them. The land there was soft, golden, as if the ground itself smiled at anyone who dared to dream. The pleasure pig, light as a breath of childhood, walked among fields of wild wheat. He gathered handfuls of golden straw, humming meaningless songs, dancing with the wind. His eyes didn't see the horizon. He wasn't interested in what had passed or what might happen. Only the present interested him. He shaped his house with joy and a smile. He wove the straw with his bare hands, without plans, without squares, like someone playing, and rejoiced in life, without weight, without guilt, without self-criticism. The moment was enough to exist. With each wall built, a laugh. With each corner finished, a leap of joy. Her home was beautiful. It glowed in the sun as if blessed by some harvest deity. Inside it was a comfortable chaos. Colorful pillows, the smell of grass, the scent of flowers, leafy curtains, makeshift furniture. Everything there said, don't think, enjoy every moment, every sensation, just feel. The pleasure pig lived as many do, escaping time, any responsibility, collecting sensations. It was his way of existing, but something always came to the surface, and he knew that at some point, he would have to leave this eternal form of existence. And deep down, I felt it. I felt something was coming. And one night when the wind stopped, and the moon stopped smiling, he listened. A rustling sound among the fields, a silence that wasn't the absence of sound, but the presence of something hidden, strong, something there to take him out of the moment. A danger, a new equation, a wolf. He didn't come running. He didn't come screaming. It came as permeating as mist. His eyes glowed like live coal. His fur was too dark to reflect light. His steps didn't break branches. They coaxed leaves to bend. He approached the thatched house as if visiting an old, well-known friend. The little pig, trembling but trying to keep his joy, cried out, "Go away. I don't want to leave my life as it is. I don't want to grow up nor get close to you. Here I am safe. My home is my life, my moment, my joy." The wolf smiled. A smile that didn't say, "I'm going to eat you," but rather, "I'll show you." Then he blew. A strong, firm, decisive breath. It wasn't a physical wind. It was a breath of essence, an exhalation of that which lives in the depths of the unspoken, the breath of the shadow. The straw danced. The walls trembled. Happy memories scattered everywhere, floating like ash in the air. And the house, the piggy security, the Pollyanna girl-like, carefree existence, crumbled. And the frightened little pig, taken from the protection of his comfort, ran away. He ran without looking back. The straw stuck to his body, the laughter dead in his throat, the fear of no longer living in the carefree moment. He ran. He ran toward his brother, who had gone to the right, the one with the wood, because at that moment all he wanted was security, structure, predictability. But inside him, a question began to form. If what made me happy was so easy to destroy, were all those experiences really mine, or was I idealizing them? And the wolf, standing among the straw, just waited, because he knew the next house would also have cracks. The little pig with rules chose the path that led to the most symmetrical clearing. The trees there grew in straight lines. The birds sang rhythmically, and even the wind seemed to follow some invisible order. He walked with determination. He had built his house first in his mind, designing every detail, every angle, every beam, every window planned with obsessive precision. Predictability was her motto, and her home was her fortress against chaos. As he chopped the wood, he quoted rules he had learned somewhere. The right is always stronger. Discipline saves. Each person does not have their own because they did not dedicate themselves. They did not acquire the merit. Too much emotion is weakness. He hammered these phrases like prayers, driving nails with guilt and conviction. When his brother, the straw fugitive, staggered in, covered in sweaty straw, his eyes filled with fear, he showed no surprise. He simply pointed to the entrance and said, "You can come in, but I'm telling you, I told you, living the way you do would never work. I knew you would ask for help. Come here, at least here there is order." Inside, the house was cool and tidy. The curtains were starched, the shelves were lined, and the books were alphabetized. No color dared clash. No object was out of place, but something in that rigidity reeked of repression. Fear, as if everything was there not to live, but to hide something. "The wolf," the younger brother murmured. He blew, 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 and everything fell down. "That happens to those who live on impulse," replied the little wood pig dryly. "Don't worry, we're protected here. He won't overcome my structure." That night, when the moon rose like a sickle over the clearing, the wolf came. He didn't appear as before. He didn't walk through the mist. He appeared between the cracks in the trees like a recurring thought, like a nagging memory. The wood pig locked doors, closed windows, squeezed his eyes shut. "He shall not pass," he shouted. "Here there are morals. There are rules, law, meritocracy, norms. There is form. There is defense." The wolf didn't answer. He just snorted. The breath was deeper, more serious. It didn't physically knock him down, but it corroded him from within. It was the wind of questioning, the painful breath of a wounded unconscious. The wood creaked. The walls shook. The rigid beams swayed. The rules creaked. The pleasure pig cried. The Madeira pig prayed, recited mantras. But the wolf did not seek destruction. He sought truth. And the truth was that behind the well-aligned boards, there was fear. A lot of fear. Behind these rules, conservatism, traditions, there is a lot of fear. Fear of oneself. Fear of what is different. Fear of taking risks. Fear of freedom. Fear of living. Fear of seeing oneself. The house didn't fall all at once. It cracked, gave way, wept. The two brothers fled. Farther away. Deeper. And for the first time, the rules pig had to admit, "I don't know what I'm doing." And the wolf, hidden among the shadows of the trees, whispered, "That is already a good start." In the heart of the oldest forest, where the trees whisper in forgotten languages and the ground pulses as if alive, the silent pig lay stones. No plan, no map, just listening. He observed the veins in the rock, the direction of the wind, the position of the stars. Each stone was placed as if composing a poem. The house was born not of force, but of alignment. It grew in spirals. The walls seemed organic, as if sprouting from the ground. The entrance had no door, but a curved opening like a womb. The light from within was amber, soft yet eternal. There was no rush there. There, time leaned over eternity. When the two brothers arrived, one with eyes hollowed with pleasure, the other with hands trembling with guilt, the silent stone pig just made way. He didn't judge them. He didn't welcome them with words. He simply gave them his space. Inside the house there were no answers, but there was fire. The fire crackled without consuming. The floor was made of living stone, cold and safe. The pleasure pig tried to dance, but stopped. The rules guy wanted to organize objects, but he had nothing to organize. A Spartan and minimalist environment. There was nothing to organize. There, everything was what it was. On the first night, they heard the wolf. He didn't roar. He didn't blow. He just walked around the house as if waiting, like someone circling an altar or a temple on pilgrimage. His eyes were clearer. There was weariness in his fur. The silent pig got up, came out, and stood face to face with him. It didn't intimidate him. There was no fear, no challenge. Just one question. "What do you want from us?" The wolf tilted his head. His eyes reflected the house, the three brothers, and something deeper. something too utterly inaccessible to be named. I don't want to destroy anything. I want to reveal it, but few can bear it when they begin to see. And then, he left. In the silence that followed, the brothers remained silent, they said nothing, and each one in their corner rested and fell asleep, or thought so. They saw illusions, revelations. They did not know if they were dreams or visions. They dreamed of their old houses, but they spoke. The one with the straw said, "You built me in a hurry, and now you blame me for falling." The wooden one said, "You shaped me with fear, and now you hate those who force you to change." And the stone house said nothing. It just was. And in that silence, for the first time, the three little pigs slept soundly, not because they were safe, but because they were whole. On the third night, something changed inside the stone house. It wasn't the sound. It wasn't the wind. It was a smell, an aroma that did not come from outside, neither from the wood nor from the fire, an ancient scent, warm, familiar as a memory, strange as a premonition. The silent pig stood up first. He lit candles. The flames danced as if they knew what was going to happen. In the center of the house, a stone table appeared. No one had put it there. It just appeared. It made itself. And on top of it, dishes appeared. Food that wasn't food. Fruits that reminded me of childhood. Breads that taste like unanswered questions. A wine too dark to be just drunk. The three sat down, not as brothers, but as aspects of the same being, trying to talk for the first time. The pleasure pig spoke of his dreams and desires. The rules pig responded with fear and criticism. The silent, meditative little pig listened and still just listened. The tension was growing like a slow fire. "You put us at risk," cried the little pig of rules, dogmas, and laws. "You trapped us in cages," retorted the little pig of pleasure. "Now we're trapped." I, the silent one tried to say, but the voices covered everything. Until a fourth presence appeared. The shadow appeared at the door. The wolf. He came in. Didn't attack. Didn't blow. Didn't roar. He just sat at the table. For a moment, no one moved. It was the wolf who spoke first. "You summoned me." His voice was deep and slow, like someone speaking from inside a tunnel. "I am everything you don't want to see. Everything you pretend to control. Everything you try to kill within yourselves. I am everything that always comes back, that needs to exist outside too." The pleasure pig lowered his eyes. The rule pig clenched his fists. The silent pig simply said, "And why are you watching us?" The wolf looked each of them in the eyes and replied, "Because what you don't accept, don't absorb, don't include, don't integrate, I destroy." Silence. The candle flickered. The wine darkened even further. The wolf rose. "This is the last supper before the mirror. Eat, if you can." And he disappeared into the darkness of the house. They ate. They ate their memories. They ate their anxieties. They ate their fears, their symbols. And when they were finished, they were empty. Empty and ready. On the fourth night, the stone house woke up looking different. There was no sun, there was no wind, only the gray light of silence. The three little pigs woke up at the same time. They didn't speak, they didn't eat. They just felt it. And as if moved by something that came from within and from very far away, they walked together to the central hall. There, where before there had been only stone, now there was a large, enormous mirror. But it wasn't common. It was an old mirror. The glass did not reflect shapes. It reflected only the truths. The pleasure pig was the first to look. He saw himself as a child, smiling, playing, dreaming he could do anything. Then, running away. He saw all the places where he pretended to be alive, trembled, but he didn't back down. The rules pig approached. He saw himself as rigid, cold, a harsh judge of others and himself. He saw the times he condemned those who needed love most, when he pretended to be indifferent, when he thought himself superior by following hypocritical, pharisaical religious rules. He saw his mask slipping away, and he cried, a heartfelt, regretful, necessary cry. The silent pig looked last, brooding anxiously, and he saw the wolf. But the wolf wasn't outside, he was inside him. He was looking through his eyes. At that moment, the three little pigs understood. There were never three of them. They were fragments, echoes, reflexes, and the wolf was the shadow of what was denied by each of them. The mirror shone with a light they had never seen before. Their images merged, the colors collided, the skins touched, and in a silent flash, the three became one. Not a body, not only that, but a conscience. The stone house vibrated, the walls breathed, the fire beckoned. The wolf appeared in the mirror, not as an enemy, not as a visitor, but as a part. And then, it disappeared. Not because it was defeated, but because finally it was recognized. The forest fell silent, and for the first time there was no more division. Now there was only one being, no longer a individual, but definitely and truly an individual, whole, fused. But now the straight talk is up to you. Yes, you. Now that everything has been told, close your eyes. Return to the night road of the soul's life. Remember the golden field, the house built in haste. Remember the symmetrical clearing, the house made, built of rules. Remember the stone, the fire, the silence. Remember the wolf. He was in every breath, in every ruin, in every escape, which you pretended was your choice. But what you may not have realized is that the wolf never came from outside. He is the strength you hide, the pain you repress, the scream you muffle with your mantras, prayers, rules, beliefs, and smiles. You tried to just be the little pig in the straw, light, carefree. But life blew you away, dismantled you, destroyed you. You tried to be just the wood, rigid, fair, impenetrable. But the world has cracked you, and only when you accept the stone, the waiting, the silence, the listening, will you begin to see what was always there. Your shadow, your essence, yourself, the wolf, you. There is no moral to this story. There is no happy ending, nor a tragic one. There is only one mirror for you, for your soul. And now that you've read, watched, and listened this far, say or write, who are you being? Which house did you build? And when the wind blows again, because it will always blow, will your house hold up again? Or will you finally open the door and face the beast that has always stared at you from the other side? If you've made it this far, you're no longer just a reader. He is a seeker, an adventurer, an adventuress in search of the true treasure. It's part of this new process. Or maybe, just maybe, I've already started to remember that you are not just the little pigs. You are also the wolf. And, amen? What's up, man and woman? It's never over. Now is just the beginning. Like and share and follow our posts. Kisses.